push pride aside.
Right.
Honestly, if pushing pride aside is probably one of the most valuable, bit of insight that I would tell people or hear is that no one is going to fault you for asking questions. And if they do, do you really want to learn from them anyways? Mm-hmm. I just think it's more beneficial to, know that you don't know everything, and that's okay.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Things No One Tells You. I'm super pumped for you to meet a really good friend of mine who is someone that actually I just came to know in the past couple of years. But before that, so I just got back from West Palm, where I was recently because I was co-hosting the Eclipse Awards, which for those of you that do not know, they are basically referred to as the Oscars of horse racing. I love covering that sport. It's something that has been sort of in my family because my dad covered it for years. And I feel honestly, like, do you have those experiences where when maybe you're given an opportunity to do something and you're like, they have no idea how much this means to me? That's how I feel, just because being around all of those people that make the sport run, I just love it. And I love getting to know them. And when I was asked to do those awards, that meant I got to co-host with my friend, Britney Eurton. And honestly, I was kind of intimidated because she's such an amazing reporter and host, and she has grown up around the industry. But if you don't know Britney, you can see her covering sports for NBC Sports. She also was covering horse racing for FanDuel. She has done soccer. She is going to be doing the Olympics for NBC. She's going to be in Milan covering sliding, and sliding encompasses luge, bobsled, and skeleton. So she's going to be reporting on that, but she's awesome. Her star is rising so much. What I love about Britney is she's not only a reporter, she's very much a host. She has so many different interests, but she's so good at what she does because she is so thorough. And watching her come up in this business, it's awesome because you realize how much it takes to learn the craft, but she's coming at it in a way of what I now am doing, which is freelance, and seeing how she organizes all the different projects that she's doing. It's actually really informative and awesome. So when I was asked to do the Eclipse Awards, I had to heavily lean on Britney, which felt, interesting because she's younger than me, but she's so good at doing it. And I felt like I kind of had this imposter syndrome because I'm like, oh my goodness, everything I hear is how important it is to just really be authentic in that room. And it's such a tight-knit group in this community. But Britney so put me at ease. Like, she's such a great writer, but she was just super helpful. But also, anyway, watching her work was really cool too. And beyond that, she's become a really great friend and someone that I also love to bounce things off of. She, in this conversation, really talked about the things no one tells you about keeping the curiosity going, and things no one tells you about the learning that it takes when you're learning a job and how you do that, and the need to ask questions. And I think you're going to find this fascinating no matter what part of your career journey you're on. Maybe you're thinking about doing something different. Anyway, Britney has so much to offer. I love hanging out with this girl so much, but I also love the things that I learned from her. So she agreed to talk to me when she was covering the Magic Millions, which is a huge horse racing event in Australia. So we flipped the script and she joined me at a wild time because of the time difference, but I appreciated that. So here she is, Britney Eurton. I am so excited for you guys to meet my friend Britney Eurton, who has a million hats and also wears a million hats, right? We could say both ways.
I like that. That's good. Elizabeth, thanks for having me. It's so fun to chat with you.
You're the best. And I mean, forget the fact that you're in Australia and you're joining me. No, this is so awesome. So I shared a little bit about you, but Britney is like, for those of you that don't know, I came to know her. I've known her for a couple of years now because we get to do the Eclipse Awards together, which for those of you that don't know, it is the Oscars of horse racing. Can you say that? Can you?
I love saying it that way. It is the Oscars of horse racing. Absolutely. And we get to dress up in ball gowns. So why not? Where's our red carpet?
Oh man. And those stories like from last year, I was like, whoa, this is awesome because it was like you came to play. Your gown was amazing.
So you were in the hot pink. It was beautiful.
It was so fun. I know that's a whole story in itself, like getting ready before and what it looked like. And it is such a fun experience though. And I've loved getting to watch like just your career because it's so fascinating the way that you do your work. Obviously the person that you are, but I love that it's like you do so many different things. Obviously, I think most people in sports would know you from NBC Sports and horse racing, and before that, FanDuel. But you're also doing Olympics, women's soccer, etc. So I just want to dive into like what your journey's been like. But I would love to just start if there is a thing that no one tells you that has been on your mind.
Oh gosh, that's interesting. And that's a hard question too, because I feel like I'm the type of person that will go to anyone and everyone for advice. So I'm getting people constantly telling me things because I ask for it. Even if
Really?
they, oh yeah. I don't think that you could ever have enough knowledge. You are, in my opinion, you never stop learning. I feel so lucky that I get to work with some unbelievable broadcasters, yourself included.
Oh,
But
thank you.
when you have someone like Mike Tirico that's willing to give you 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of his time, who's a very busy man, and talk to you about your career, I mean, you've got to take advantage of that, right? So I try and soak up as much as I can because and it kind of leads into what people don't tell you. I never think that I'm good enough, and I know that I'm not trying to knock myself by any means, but that fine line that you walk between confidence and cockiness is something I never wanted to be close to. So I think I've lacked it a bit in my career. Imposter syndrome is probably what the official term is, and no matter how much you achieve, it's always kind of there. So but I realize at the end of the day that it doesn't matter how much other people believe in you. You have to believe in yourself, and that's where confidence comes from. So I work on it every day.
It is so surprising to hear you say that, but I get it. And let's unpack that for a second because what I think it's really interesting you talking about feedback. Like I think feedback is so critical. And a lot of times I think about it because as you go through different stages in your career, sometimes I think it's scary to ask for feedback, not because you don't want it, but because it's that imposter syndrome of, can I ask this? Like, does it seem weird that I'm like asking that question? Do you know, which to be honest, um, like that is a big part of the way that I felt when I was coming. I was so excited to do the Eclipse Awards last year. Like when they asked me, I was kind of like, are they serious? Like they were like, I was so excited because for me, I've just always looked up to the sport, as you know the story. Like my dad covered it, but I also there's so much that I have to learn and have been trying to learn. But it was like you were so helpful in that too. But I think that's such an interesting concept, don't you? Just
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
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 crazy.
it's stepping into new territories, right? So that was a new realm for
Mhm.
you. But I mean, I don't know if I actually told you this. When I was first asked to host the Eclipse Awards, I said no, because there was no way that I wanted to be in that room, which can be a difficult one in front of,
Wow.
so many people. I'm just used to a camera in front of me, and it doesn't matter if there's 1 million or 20 million people watching, like the Kentucky Derby. I feel more at ease than being in front of a room of people and my peers and those that I work with and interview all the time. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified
Really?
to do it. Yeah.
And that was how many years ago?
7.
Wow. So what happened? You said no, and then were they like, sorry, we're not taking that for an answer? Or
Well, I had spoken to Amy Zimmerman, who you obviously know,
Mhm.
who's the producer of the Eclipse Awards, and I've worked with her for a long time on NBC shows as well, and she challenged me to do something that scares me because most of the time that will help you grow the most. And I really appreciate her telling me that because she's the type that after a show I will go to and I'll text her and I'll say, I think that was a terrible show. She says, I think you need to watch it back and you are not going to be as hard on yourself as you are right now. So she's kind of that honest ear and that honest
Mhm.
voice for me. And I think she just challenged me to do something that petrified me. And I'm so glad I did. It still scares me.
Really? Don't say
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. It
No,
does. But I think that's good. It's a sense of adrenaline rush. If you don't have nerves, why are you doing it? That means the stakes aren't high enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Okay, so before we get into your journey, why are you in Australia? You're doing the Magic Millions, but can you tell people what this is like?
Okay, so Magic Millions is on the Gold Coast, just about an hour away from Brisbane. And it is, I can't say it is just a horse sale or race days because it's more than that. It's a full week of events highlighting the best that the Gold Coast has to offer. So it's two
Wow.
major race meetings with 20 million Australian dollars on the line. There's a horse sale smashed in between for yearlings or 1 year olds. So a lot of money changing hands, and you get to see the future of the sport. But in addition to that, there is a barrier draw, which is where they pick the post positions that the horses are going to run out of, and a beach gallop. So it is literally, I can see the beach
Oh,
from
wow.
here. I'm in Broad Beach right now, and that's where the entire event was held, which was pretty remarkable. And it was open to the public, so people get to get very close to these horses, which is wonderful. And then there was a polo and show jumping event. So all
Oh,
encompassing, really highlighting the horse and bringing people closer to it. It's been a blast.
it's like Horse Olympics. That's so
Thank you.
cool.
I'm going to steal that.
Go for it. Yeah, that's I love it. And okay, but also one other fun fact is you were married last June, so less
Yeah.
than a year. Yeah. So how is the travel, the different, projects? How is that all going? How's the balance?
I, I got really lucky because my husband Patrick travels probably more than I do in a sense.
Okay.
He loves exploring new places. He's never in one place too long. He wants to make sure that any event that is happening with family friends, he's there for. So he's very much so
Wow.
that can pick up at the last minute's notice to go somewhere. So he very much so understands my travel as well for work. He grew up in the horse racing industry as well in a sense. His uncle
Mhm.
is a horse trainer, and he owned part of a horse that ran in the Derby, which is how we met actually, which is great. I interviewed him on NBC, so that's our that's
You have
our
the video.
I have to find it somewhere. But yes, I interviewed them when they ran a horse named Hot Rod Charlie in the Belmont Stakes, and I was assigned to interview him and his friend. So I guess the rest is history. But I'm so lucky because he understands my world. He also loves to travel. So really, we try to parlay any sort of work trip into a personal trip too, if we can. He's here in Australia with me. I've
So
gone
good.
with him to different work events, and it's just become a really wonderful balance. I don't know for how long, we can constantly like pick up and just travel the
Yeah.
world, but for as long as we can, we're going to.
I mean, maybe forever. Like I actually think that's the thing no one tells you is how great that can be when
Mhm.
you are with someone who understands the industry. And certainly on the flip side, I think it has its challenges. Like when
Mhm.
we first got jobs that were new jobs that were at national networks, it was like, what's going on? Because the push and pull of like different schedules, it was crazy for a bit. But at the end of the day, it's like you always have this person that gets it. I find that that's the biggest thing is like, if there is, I think it's surprising to me that I didn't realize this, but it's like if you have something that really means something that you're passionate about that you want to
Mhm.
do, that understanding of like, the drive for the story or the stakes of the event or whatever it is. It's like you can't replace that, you
Mm.
know?
Mm. No, and he's so supportive of my career, and I know that if I had an opportunity that took me to another state or another country for an extended amount of time, he would wholeheartedly be behind it.
Mhm.
But I mean, you and Craig show how well it works having two kids, two jobs. Like it's just, what's your advice? We're newly
God.
married.
I well, you know what? But it's really interesting because me being in the freelance world, it's like it's a different thing. I think I need to own that more. I don't know. Like I feel like that's why I find the way that you navigate and work and organize your life, I find it fascinating, but I also think it's really awesome because it really, you're doing the thing and it's great. And I think it also is like there's a real power in you doing different a variety of events, but also like being able to do really big things. So anyway, um, it's so anyway, navigating that part of it is like when you're both doing Olympics, we're like, how amazing is that? How lucky are we? But
Mm-hmm.
it's also like, oh, we have kids.
Yeah.
Like, so, so it's just, it's the village. Like that part of it comes down to the village. And my dad, who that's the other parallel, like with you and I, it's, your dad was a jockey, a horse trainer, correct? And my dad,
Mhm.
it was a
Yes.
journalist, a sports journalist. And so my dad once said to me when I was crying on my bathroom floor because we had just moved here and Melvin and I were about to have like the first weekend we had off the same days since we had moved here. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
we knew it was going to be a grind and we were super excited. But I think the reality of like, we've just moved from downtown Washington, D.C. to the middle of the suburbs. I'm working this overnight shift at ESPN and he's getting sent because he's this rookie reporter at the network to go be places for like a couple weeks. And I'm like, I'm in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like, what have I done? Like, right. So my dad was like, just get your shit together. Do you know what I mean? Like both of them. My mom was like, get your shit together. Get a glass of wine, take a
Mm-hmm.
like bubble bath.
No
My dad's
excuses.
like,
Play like a champion.
totally. And he's like, and you, this is a great, blah, blah, blah. And then my dad was like, the biggest thing is that you make the moments when you're together matter. Like, and that's it. And ever since he said that, I really, really believe in that. And I believe in that with him and like time that we have, or even if it's like not convenient because his schedule sucks
Yeah.
like for like normal life at night, right? So I'm like, why are you in bed before my children? Do you know what I mean? Like whatever. So but I just mean I guess that it is real. Like that's very true. And now that we have kids and a family, you realize how that piece of it is true because to be able to do the kind of stuff that we do, especially like the amount of work that you do, it's like you've got to really love it. And
Yeah.
like how blessed are we to
Mhm.
still get that fire when you find out what an assignment is because you authentically are really excited about it,
Yeah. I don't think there's anything better or a bigger rush than when you're doing live TV. And I can't
Same.
really explain that to anybody else until you're in it and you're in the moment. There's nothing more satisfying, at least for me personally, interviewing somebody after a big moment like a win
Yes.
at the racetrack or a big victory, say in the Challenge Cup and NWSL, and you get that pour of emotions, and all you're doing is just trying to elicit that response from them. But for me, there's nothing more exciting, exhilarating, or rewarding kind of capturing those moments. So you're right. You have to love it, but that doesn't mean every
Mhm.
day is going to be a joy. It's freelance, especially, can be a grind. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, and then it's structuring your time in between too.
Mhm.
That's something I'm trying to get better at. Is like, okay, what does that look like, right? All of a sudden you've got a stretch and that can be really great. But I think you also have to be really smart about that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so how did your love affair with horse racing begin?
I think my love affair with horse racing probably began the moment I walked the shed row and met a horse. Honestly, I it's those are my favorite moments. I don't ride, which probably surprises people. Having a dad who was a jockey and is a trainer, but they never pushed that on me. I was always doing extracurricular activities like dance or soccer, gymnastics, but that didn't last long. I not I wasn't very good at it. But I just the time spent going to the barn and picking out my favorite horse, typically the slowest one. For whatever reason, the one that I fell in love with weren't very good, and getting to know their personalities. That is why we do it. These equine
Mhm.
athletes are incredible, and they are all so different. And they have so much joy to bring people. So it had to have been just going to the barn, and I've been going since I was born. I feel very lucky that it is a sport that I was introduced to at such a young age, but I never thought I'd work in it. That's the most
Really?
surprising part. No, I had no interest in working in horse racing. I knew I didn't want to work on the backside. I wanted to be an actor since I was 3. I love film and TV, so that was my path. And
Mhm.
I guess I segued that into broadcasting, which is just a funny trajectory when I look back on it.
Wow. So how did that pivot point come? Not that
Honest,
that's a permanent pivot, by the way,
no,
because I really believe in, that you can do things and make changes or explore different things. Anyway, carry on.
no, definitely. It's interesting. If I'm being honest, I think I got burnt out. I found that to be an actor, you talk about loving it. I mean, you've got to love it with every ounce of your being because it's not easy. The constant rejection, going on auditions, and then getting a call back and being put on a veil and then not getting anything. All of that hard work and time put into it. I loved the act of acting, if it makes sense. I loved going to
Yeah.
class. I loved performing. That's probably from my days of dancing. But what it takes to actually become a working actor, I don't think I had in me. And maybe at the end of the
Wow.
day, I found that I enjoyed being myself more than I enjoyed playing a character. Um, I really
That's
like.
deep.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. It just
Um,
gave me chills.
no, I think I'm inquisitive by nature and I just love hearing people's stories. So being on the other end of this, like I want to ask you questions. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm just used to doing it that way. So being on the other end of it is a little odd. So I think that's the pivot point for me is I just realized maybe I didn't love it as much as I thought I did, or maybe I didn't love what it would take to get there.
What is your favorite moment in an interview? Like, don't, as I'm listening to you talk, you're such a connector. And I love, I just love the moment of like talking to people when you realize, or you're like, really, you can tell that people are sharing things. And like you talked about the moments. For you, like, what is it you think about? Because there is a big level of that in acting too. You're like connecting, you're I don't know how to describe what I really mean, but
Interviews in comparison to acting, would agree with you. You're connecting on an emotional level to a point. At least
yeah.
that's how I would hope my interviewee feels. It's why I love long form interviews. I
Mhm.
don't need to be in front of the camera. Hey, don't. I
Yeah.
don't want to lose any of my jobs by saying that, but documentaries, just being able to sit down and have a long form conversation with somebody to the point where they feel comfortable enough to share something with you that's personal, whether that be emotion or story. The moment they drop their guard, I think, is the
Yes.
best moment for me as a reporter. And you know this when you are either doing sidelines or post race interviews or pre, you've got a minute and a half. So it's hard to do in a very short amount of time. But if you
Yeah.
can get them to do that, there's nothing more rewarding. It's that's my favorite part.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I've thought a lot about that because I actually think it's like a moment that you can kind of feel. And it's not a moment that's like, oh, I got this person to blah da da. But it is a moment of like connection. That's
Mm-hmm.
really what it is. It's yeah. At ESPN, we had an interview guru that everyone had to sit with, John Sawaski, who I loved what he taught because he would work on that craft and he would just talk about the arc of a conversation, an interview, and
Mm-hmm.
what goes into it. I think it's fascinating, because I also really believe at the end of the day that when we can find things that are relatable, that's when some
Mm-hmm.
of the magic happens.
It's funny you say that because before I will even start an interview and you meet whoever you're going to be with, I instantly try and find some sort of connection because if I can get them with their guard down off the top of the interview,
Yeah.
then I think it's going to be so much better than if I just roll straight into it. And that's not always easy. Not everybody is comfortable in front of the camera or willing to open up, but you have to try, and that's a bit of a challenge that I think I enjoy.
I love that. How do you like organize and figure out what types of sports you're doing? Because for so long you've been doing horse racing and now you really are branching into other areas. What is that part of it like?
It's it's fun because I feel like I'm going back to school in a sense. And
Yeah.
I loved researching and learning about new things and new sports. I'm a fan of sport in general, which I know you are. And
Yeah.
knowing that I didn't want to work in horse racing, but I ended up in horse racing and I love it. It's been a really good um stepping stone for me to learn and perfect my craft if I can. But again, you continue to perfect it, but then also open the doors to covering other sports. I have the opportunity to work with Amazon Prime to do NWSL. And when I got hired, I made it well known that I'm not an expert in soccer. And I appreciate the fact that they said, well, that's not why we're hiring you. We're bringing you in to give people another perspective, right? Because it's all about growing the sport. Horse racing is the same way. So if I can come into it with a very open and honest and inquisitive mind, maybe other people would do the same in terms of wanting to watch it. So for me, getting the packets from a researcher and learning about the players and their stories and the coaches, and then actually getting to interact with them has been an absolute blast. It's a real challenge. I mean, there's sometimes I will only cover a sport once. I covered aerials and moguls for NBC at Deer Valley one
Yes.
time. And it was the most exhilarating, fun experience because there's so many of these types of sports that I'd be happy to learn about. But at the root of it
Yeah.
all, it's the competition, it's the thrill of the victory, the agony of defeat, and then everything that fans feel through the process.
Right. And I think like what NBC says in their Olympic seminar, it's like everyone has like they find the drive somewhere. They all have their story, right? It's like what have they overcome? What have
Mhm.
I love it. Okay, so Olympics, you're getting ready to do another Olympics with NBC and this time you're doing what is your sport?
Sliding.
So fun. I
Yeah.
was like sliding. This is so yes. So bobsled,
Bobsled,
luge.
luge, skeleton. Again, I have not covered any of these sports before, but, and you know this, the team at NBC, especially around the Olympics, is remarkable. You say it takes a village. I mean, the prep work that they give us ahead of time is unreal. Similarly to when I've done the
Yeah.
Paralympics. Hosted that last year. Just the wealth of resources at your fingertips is so helpful. I can't lean on them enough for that. So yeah, covering three sports for the first time. But again, it's all about the stories, right? Share
Mm-hmm.
people something
Mm-hmm.
that they might not know about these people, these athletes, and hopefully they want to watch it again because of it.
What is your process with all of that information at your fingertips? Because that's hard too. There's, to your point, it's amazing. How do you usually break down your day? Like, are you an early riser or are you no, you're,
Oh, my husband makes so much fun of me. He says, "You are not
really?
a morning person." Yeah, no, I'm not at all. Are you?
I am. I
You
feel
have to
like
be with
I have a
kids.
hard time sometimes staying up. Like, yes, but it's just like I don't know why.
I mean, I enjoy going to bed early too, like a 5 p.m. dinner, going to bed early. So I really think my prime time is between 12 and 2. I'm really good between 12 and 2.
You're Italian.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, there you go.
European.
Just a little siesta.
Oh,
My process, I think that it changes year in and year out because the more that I do, the more I find ways to be more efficient. I think I definitely haven't perfected it yet, but I've told myself take it one event at a time.
mhm.
That's easier for me. So right now, focusing on Magic Millions, and then of course Eclipse, Pegasus, and then Olympics. But as that's all happening, I try and stay up to date as much as I can via social media. I think that the bobsled team and Olympics is putting out some really really great stuff. So you just try and stay on top of it. But then I'll do my real deep dive, read into all of the packets. I'll put it into my iPad. I'll highlight all of the big ticket items that I think would be useful later on, and then take it day by day. I mean, it's 3 weeks. You can't get too ahead of yourself, right?
Right, right. And then there's always, a twist and a turn, which is really fun, but also like, okay, whoa, right. You're right. I am always fascinated by how everyone comes together. I feel like you and I have talked about this before, but how like the Olympics is one of those examples of like you're working a lot of times with people that don't typically work maybe at NBC the rest of the year, or maybe that, and so it's always fascinating to me that people come from all different backgrounds in
Mhm.
the industry, but you come together. And I don't know, I always feel like in the beginning, it's kind of like everyone's asking the same questions. Like, is this what I'm doing? It really is like the lessons I've learned from that is just you go into it with like eyes wide open and
Mhm.
just really ready to do the work, but being really open to people and their experiences and what they
Mhm.
bring to the table, and really asking questions, kind of like
Mhm.
what you said in the beginning. Like that,
Mhm.
to me, that is the thing that no one tells you about, like finding your way in this business, and probably a lot of other business, is just the willingness and the humility sometimes to just ask the questions,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
ask what you
push pride aside. It
right.
honestly, if pushing pride aside is probably one of the most valuable, bit of insight that I would tell people or hear is that no one is going to fault you for asking questions, and if they do, do you really want to learn from them anyways?
Mhm.
I just
Right,
think it's more beneficial to know that you don't know everything, and that's okay.
right. That's okay.
Mhm.
That's the key. Do you have a dream role, or is there something that you would just love to try?
I'm so embarrassed to say this.
Oh no. What?
No, no, I love I grew up on Kelly and Regis, and or well,
Yes.
let's say Regis and Kathy Lee, and then Kelly and
Yes.
Regis, and of course now Mark and Kelly. I love that format.
Yes.
She and whoever she's with. I mean, I loved her with Ryan Seacrest, but the ability to, she covers so many bases, whether it be sports, entertainment, even though she admits that she doesn't really know much about sports. Uh, every day looks like a lot of fun. And I know it's not. This is even more embarrassing. When I first moved to New York, Patrick got me tickets to go to a taping of her show.
Amazing.
It was great. But just, watching it from the standpoint of, wow, I would love to do that. She makes it look so easy. And it's not, because there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. So that would be my ideal job, is something like what she does.
I absolutely love that you said that. I think you would hit it out of the park. And I think, yes, because it's the live audience, it's
Mm,
connecting, but it takes a really unique skill set to do that. I,
yeah.
I love it. I think that would be awesome.
I think you have
And
to
I
be a
also
little
think,
self-deprecating, which I'm
yeah,
okay being. You've got to be able to make fun of yourself, make fun of, just have a very loose rapport with everybody.
yeah.
I don't know. It just looks like such a joy.
I also think there's something really cool about a variety show where it's not just, you're talking about topical things. You're talking about sports, maybe, but whatever it is, entertainment, news, but then there's a music component. I've
Hmm.
always thought, like, my dream growing up was to be, I wanted to be Martha Quinn, which is really dating me, but on MTV. I just wanted to
Oh,
be an
okay.
MTV VJ. Yeah.
Yeah,
And talk about music videos. Anyway,
that would
it's
be a
so fun.
lot of fun.
Right.
At this
But it
point,
doesn't really
though,
exist
no, no. Well, you
Just
could make it. You could bring it back.
could we bring it back?
Yeah, anything
That
is
would be
possible.
anything is possible this day and age. Um, okay, before we let you go, what we always ask people three things that no one knows about you. Do you have three things?
That is so hard. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think I share probably more than I should. Everybody knows I'm a Dodgers fan. That's easy. I said it earlier. I think it would be surprising to people to know that I don't ride, considering my father is a horse trainer.
Have you
Um,
ever?
oh, I got aboard a horse in Hawaii. My feet came out of the stirrups. I was bouncing on top of the saddle. It was terrifying.
Did you fall?
No, thank God. But now I wish I did, right? Being older, I wish that I learned how to ride. Outside of that, I am petrified of sharks. So I don't
Oh,
often go in the ocean. I'm born and raised Southern California, but I don't often go into the ocean because I'm really scared of big fish.
well, definitely don't go in Australia then.
No, no. I mean, I tapped my
Have
toes
you
in the
seen
water.
any?
Yeah, no, but I used to go to SeaWorld when I was much, much younger with my parents, and I would close my eyes and cover my ears. Don't ask me why, when we would go into the shark tunnel. I can't even look at them. I can't look at photos. It's
It's so interesting,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's embarrassing. Oh, a third thing. That is so hard. Sushi probably is my favorite food.
That's good. That's easy, but that's okay. I'll let you have it.
I
What is your
know.
makeup routine? Do you have anything that you can share that you absolutely love? Because the memory I do have from the Eclipse Awards last year was you coming down that morning and you had your eye the patches, which I love. I mean, I am a huge fan of the face roller.
Yeah.
That has become my like thing. It's a routine. It is in my freezer. I take it out. I just do the little,
Hmm.
like so
I need
so
to get one of
good.
I got one of those, but it's one of the Therabody, and it gets cold, and you put it underneath your eyes. It's great, but it's an actual
Oh,
device that will get
nice.
cold and will get hot. I This isn't really a makeup routine, but I love microneedling. That would probably be my
Oh,
favorite
sweet.
facial bit. Milk blush, the one that you get. It's like
The brand Milk.
the brand Milk.
Someone else just told me about that.
I do like it a
I've
lot.
heard it's amazing.
It's a
Dewy.
it's a
It's
good,
dewy.
yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, you
It's
look dewy.
a good gel blush and hourglass mascara because it comes off as like a just like it's pilling a
Tubes.
little bit. Yes, the tubes. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Are
And
you
a
wearing
yes.
Go, sorry.
And a good hat for any interview like
Mhm.
this when you don't want to do your hair.
Which I need right now. Are you wearing the Milk blush?
Yes.
I love it.
Very light
I love
though.
it.
I'm not great with doing my own makeup, so
That's not true. I've seen it. Is there anything that you wanted to share before we say goodbye? It's the other end of the day for you.
yeah, I'm starting my day. We'll be going to the horse
I
sales a
love
little
it.
bit later.
Uh,
Gosh, I don't know. What do I want to share? That horse racing is a beautiful sport, and I hope that if
yeah.
people don't know anything about it, that they keep open minds and hearts and give it a chance, and go to the races and see a horse, and I think you'll fall in love.
I
Watch.
love, by the way, that you said the equine athletes, because you're right. And I think when people hear it, reference like that, I don't know. I love the sport. I love being around it. And it does make me sad when you realize that people don't see it. It's polarizing. I get that. But I know. What do you make of that?
I think that there are a lot of things in life that are polarizing, right? And sometimes not all of the information is out there. I think negative information grabs more headlines than positive ones do. So I would challenge people that when they do read a negative article to take a step back and say, well, what's the other side of the story? And I think that, those in horse racing have been, trying to get the positive words out there about how well these horses are taken care of. And there have been a lot of improvements made. And don't get me wrong, there's so much more progress can be had. But
Hmm.
I would just challenge people to keep an open mind. I've not met a single person in the industry that doesn't love these horses and want to do everything in their power to take care of them. You can just see, my dad obviously comes to mind first because he's with them each and every day. I don't see my dad light up more than when he's at the barn with one of his horses. It's just pure joy that they give you. So I hope
Yeah.
that if I could share anything, that it's a beautiful sport. There are a lot of challenges and things to overcome and constantly work on. But the intent to do better and do more is always there.
I wish people had the opportunity to go to the backside,
Hmm.
and go and spend that time because I,
Yes.
I do think you're right. It's like when you see that,
Hmm.
there's a better understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And then beyond horse racing, watch the Olympics. So excited.
Yeah. So what is your pocket of time that we think that that's going to happen? Like in the US, when will people be seeing most of the sliding?
Oh Gosh, it's all different times because I think a lot of things are going to be on tape delay, of course, because of
Right.
that time
In
change.
prime time, shown in prime time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I know that most of what I do, and the times vary between each sport too. You could have a qualifying round that's going to go early in the morning, so that won't be showed till later. But then you could have a final that is maybe more in the afternoon. So I would just and that's what the coverage is going to really stand upon is what times are these things. That's why Gold Zone is great, right? The fact that they're
Yes.
doing the Olympics
Yes.
Gold Zone and just hitting so many different things. I just say keep NBC on, keep Peacock on. This is
In
not
the
a
background,
promo, but
USA
like,
Network on.
yeah, USA Network on,
Right.
CNBC, Paralympics, we're going to be going from around 4 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon. So that'll be after. It's a really, really great time for sport.
Is there anything that you're having to pack that you are surprised about, or is there anything that you can share that you're doing to get ready to go?
Buying a larger suitcase.
For
No, that I mean, this. The great thing about being on site, other than getting to witness it all, firsthand, is you
yeah,
do get the attire. So you don't have to think about what you're wearing, which that's something that people don't tell you is how difficult it is to plan your wardrobe for events, particularly
right.
horse racing.
Oh my gosh. Well, because the bar is so high for horse racing. Girl, I have seen your Instagram, like, and your social media with where like what you're doing, Magic Millions is like amazing. It's always amazing. But
It's on
it's
another level
right?
here, though. Oh
Really?
yeah. The fashion is unreal.
Oh my
And I'll
gosh.
say that's one of the
That's
biggest differences I've noticed here is the media is very involved, whether it be print or on air, to cover each of these events. So there's an
wow.
expectation to look good.
I love it. Well, we can't wait to see you looking good in Milan,
Oh
Cortina.
yes,
Um,
with the puffer
have so
and a
much,
beanie.
yes, have so much fun. And I thank you for, it's always great to talk to you.
You're the
So
best. Thank you. This is one of the
you're the
easiest
best.
interviews I've ever done.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll be in touch and yeah, we'll chat from Italy
Mm-hmm.
after Australia. So,
Yeah,
all right.
can't wait.
Thanks, Britt. I love talking to Britney because like I said, I learned so much from her, but also I have so much fun and she makes the Eclipse Awards a blast. And I find that, when you find someone that you can riff off of, especially at a live event, Brittany and I both love doing live events. And so that's really cool and special when you can work with someone that okay, she's actually very funny and she's going to be very quick witted. And it makes it so much fun and also to be on your toes. Also, it is such a highlight always to go and get our hair and makeup done together before the Eclipse Awards because inevitably something funny happens. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll watch for Britney during the Olympics. You can see her, like I said, covering sliding on NBC Sports. Shameless plug, you can see myself on USA Network from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day during the Olympics. We will be covering all the live action as well. So thank you so much for listening and joining us and being a part of this community here on Things No One Tells You. As always, we would love for you to subscribe, rate, and review, share what you would love to hear more of. Until then, we will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you back here next week. Please don't forget, follow and subscribe to Things No One Tells You. And of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a 5-star review because that's really what helps people get more listeners. We would love to grow this community. We are so grateful that you're a part of it. See you next time.